Prime Minister Hsien says the U.S. must remain engaged in the region as it plays an important role, one that no other country or superpower can replace. Mr. Lee was speaking at a dialogue at the APEC CEO Summit in Bali, Indonesia. He says that despite current challenges, the United States is likely to remain a powerful nation 20 years on.
The U.S. government shutdown and looming debt crisis have hijacked President Barack Obama's planned visit to Asia. He has scrapped visits to the APEC Summit in Bali, ASEAN meeting in Brunei, as well as meetings in Malaysia and the Philippines. Prime Minister Lee says it's a great disappointment that Mr. Obama has cancelled his trip. The disappointment stems from the fact that the U.S. is a very important partner to Asia, and these meetings are seen as good platforms to further boost ties. But Mr. Lee says he understands President Obama's priorities and hopes the issues in the U.S. can be resolved. And a political gridlock is not helpful when it's making long-term decisions on its fiscal balance and how to strengthen its competitiveness.
America is a very vibrant and resilient country. And notwithstanding all these problems, I think 20 years from now, it will still be a powerful country in the world. And that is good.
As part of its rebalancing strategy, the U.S. has increased its focus on the region to tap Asia's growth as well as the rise of China. And Mr. Lee says it's important that the U.S. continues this engagement with the region.
And in the broadest sense, the stability, peace and security in the Asia-Pacific depends on the key relationships between the superpowers and the big powers in the region. And the most important relationship is that between America and China. It has to be managed stably, responsibly on both sides with a long-term perspective. And America has to continue to be engaged in this region because it plays a very important role which no other country can replace. Not China, not Japan, not any other power.
In assessing the state of the world, Mr. Lee says continued prosperity will depend on countries taking necessary steps nationally to sustain growth, as well as working with one another to facilitate trade and economic integration. On regional growth, Mr. Lee says China cannot be the only story in Asia.
Asia is a very big continent, and the rest of Asia has also to prosper as well, because otherwise it will be imbalanced, and I think there will be a lot of tensions and difficulties which will arise.
Mr. Lee adds that Japan and Southeast Asia are also part of the Asian growth story. Wong Siu Ying, Channel News Asia in Bali, Indonesia.